Good morning, everyone. Um, it is October 10th. Yesterday I did a video about a half hour long, maybe a little bit longer, regarding all the stuff FEMA is up to. I stopped because it was a long video. This is the second part to that video. I don't know how many parts it's going to be. This is a long-ass article, but I've read it and it's pretty important. So I'm going to go ahead and cover all of it in a series of videos here. Unless, of course, you tell me you don't want to hear this shit, and but I doubt you will. So let's get started. FEMA. Is a FEMA dictatorship possible? Hidden in the bureaucratic maze Washington politicians call our constitutional system of government, a little-known federal agency is quietly making plans to turn the United States into a dictatorship. There are stacks of blueprints in the top-secret safe of the Federal Emergency Management Agency designed to convert American society into a command system, a former deputy administrator of the agency has told the investigative team. In a private interview allowing him to remain anonymous, this highly placed source confirmed that the procedures developed by FEMA to suspend the Constitution and to round up thousands of dissenters nationwide can be activated by a single phone call from the White House. Even people who have become aware of FEMA's existence and know something about its activities not many do think the word emergency in its designation means it will go into action only in case of a national disaster or perhaps a surprise nuclear attack. So it's not going to take either of these things for FEMA to be activated. In reality, however, this outfit can be mobilized whenever the politicians occupying the White House decide they need special and extra constitutional powers to impose their will on the nation. And don't think for a minute Donald Trump will hesitate to do this. He won't. FEMA's bureaucrats can then proceed to take over all farms, ranches, and timberlands in order to utilize them more effectively as decreed in Executive Order 11490, the so-called Omnibus Emergency Preparedness Decree, promulgated by President Richard Nixon on October 28, 1969. Seize all sources of public power, electric, nuclear, petroleum. Freeze all wages, prices, and bank accounts. Take over all communications media. Such totalitarian measures can be imposed by bureaucrats under FEMA's direction, not just in the face of a cataclysmic upheaval, but whenever necessary for assuring the continuity of the federal government in any national emergency type situation, decreed a subsequent White House Executive Order 11921, issued by Gerald Ford in 1976. Can such a blueprint for tyranny be clamped on the United States by a force of faceless federal officials? It is the role of FEMA, prepared for most intensively, says the former high agency administrator. In recent years, despite talk of spending cuts, FEMA's budget has been steadily increasing, revealed this knowledgeable source. It now stands at somewhere around $3 billion annually. I say somewhere because part of this agency's funding is appropriated under so-called black programs submitted to Congress with the defense budget without an explanation of its purpose. The plot against private property. In the February 2nd issue of his newsletter, Remnant Review, Gary North makes the provocative suggestion that our Constitutional Convention of 1787 was a manipulative maneuver of the elitist syndicate plotting world control via a central banking conspiracy. This is too big, or this is too long and too meaty an article for the ostrich to offer more than a few nibbles. And it is a long-ass article, people. Come on. I love coffee. Alright. It's about fucking time. The state's being abolished. Wait a minute. I think I've already covered that. Okay, good. The American Convention consolidated the 13 original states, sovereign under the Articles of Federation, into a giant free trade zone. North speculates that the Constitution was a peaceful thesis to the violent antithesis of the French Revolution of the same period, a Hegelian dialectic even before Hegel was born, both aimed at the same goal on the same timetable, completion by 2000. That goal was world political totalitarianism under a money monopoly. And of course, this is already happening. There's just a couple of, maybe a handful of countries that don't have a Rothschild central bank. North dates organization of the plotters from Sir Isaac Newton's capture of England's Royal Secret, or Royal Society, Royal Society chartered in 1661, and the founding of the monopolistic Bank of England in the same period. He attributes success to conspirators' sources in occultism and journalism. For more than 3 centuries, London has been the brain and control center of the conspiracy. The Bank of England is the model for a world-controlling money monopoly. North suggests that the United States is the model for its political aspect, the peaceful thesis for the violent antithesis, which has failed. Given worldwide aspirations inspired by the idealism launching the American experiment, this was a brilliant propaganda choice and is thus being sold for a united Europe. First step in the syndicate's one world. As in the United States, K was first peddled as a free trade union. Gradually, the ostrich has been reporting the original sovereignty of our confederated states has been devoured with bribes, blackmail, and such outright theft as the Nixon administration's regionalism shown in the map below. A similar fate is predictable for European nations under the syndicate's consolidation plan for 1992. Unless a reunited neutral Germany breaks from the conspiracy, unless Americans wake up from their own nonviolent velvet revolution, outlaw fractional reserve banking and usury. Regional government structure. The White House Directive, Reconstructing of Government Service Systems, dated 27 March 1969, merged the 50 sovereign states into 10 federal regions in violation of the prohibitions of Article 5, I think, United States Constitution. I'm not very good with Roman numerals. Don't remember them. An examination of the type of government established under regional governance shows that it is a government of appointed rather than elected officials, a governance established in violation of the guarantee of Article X, United States Constitution. Under regional governance, U.S. citizens are to be held in bondage in perpetuity as producers and servers for a self-appointed oligarchy. Interlocking subversions in government departments can, of course, be successfully challenged by an informed electorate motivated to act within the authority of the U.S. Constitution. Now, I would strongly advise not limiting your authority to what is said in the U.S. Constitution as a person. That is a limiting document on you. FEMA can draw on the defense budget and on the protections of the secrecy reserved for national security projects because it came into being under President Jimmy Carter in a move that merged the civil defense and disaster relief responsibilities formerly shared by the Pentagon, the Commerce Department, and the General Services Administration under a single powerful agency. But FEMA's real focus is not on disaster relief. Knowledgeable sources say an investigation of this little-known agency conducted this year, 1992, by the General Accounting Office, the Congressional Watchdog Unit, has found that less than 10% of FEMA staff, 230 bureaucrats out of an estimated 2,600, are assigned to full-time to preparing for and dealing with major natural calamities such as storms or earthquakes. What then is FEMA really up to? An advanced copy of the GOA report on this secretive agency. The study's surprising findings have been reviewed with the help of a well-placed confidential source in order to bring into full view for the first time the federal bureaucracy's secret blueprint for tyranny in America. The federal bureaucracy's secret blueprint for tyranny in America. President Eisenhower's warning about the military-industrial complex should hit home. The term military security has become a shield behind which the American people are being systematically drained and defrauded. Unlimited spending for weapons programs has become the means by which contractors have virtually unobstructed access to public funds. When you have these contractors being reimbursed for expenses without documentation, you have a license to steal. Well, it's starting to rain like a motherfucker here. Evidence that we are becoming a military welfare state is found in Public Law 85-804, which holds that contractors who are deemed essential to national defense must be protected against bankruptcy. This legislative legerdemain means that American citizens are required to underwrite incompetence, waste, and even fraud. The Pentagon has been given the power to subsidize suppliers who have broken their contractual obligations. National security has become the facade behind which the National Treasury is being brazenly raided. Figure out what the MJTF police, the BATF, the FinChin, and FEMA have drawn into messing up with the executive orders. So, you know, FEMA is the shadow government. It is the deep state that people keep screaming about. And it was not created under Barack Obama. It was created under, Jimmy Carter, it looks like. And then concreted under Ronald Reagan. Democrats and Republicans are involved in this, and, well, all the morons out there keep running to either of these sides for solutions when they really are the majority of our problems. I will cover more of this in a later video, but this one's running about 15 minutes or 16 minutes, something like that, and I don't want to keep you too long. Till next time, kill the state, live free.